I'm Brittany Blake, and welcome to The Water Down.
Water down.
Do you not like it?
I like your hair. I want to make sure you like it.
Okay.
Because we're not canceling an episode.
Okay.
Okay, look, y'all. I know it's too early to be stopping this show already. But let's just make it clear. Yes, that is my hair. Yes, I'm disappointed. But me and Brittany have a thing now where I can't cancel shows because of my hair. Because we have too many lost episodes because of it. So yes, I look like I need some of that good old pink lotion. Some of that blue magic. But you know what? It's so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm already roasting myself so no one else has to. Yes, I look like Chicken Little. I cannot help it. This is too long. Back to the show.
Today we're sitting down and reflecting on the evolution of TV. We're going to sit and compare the 90s to now. Let's talk about back in my day.
Let's get into it. Cymiah, back in my day, we had lessons in our TV shows. We could learn from it. Nowadays, I think that value has been lost. How do you feel about that?
I feel like in the 90s, there were so many things that we addressed. I feel like on certain shows and certain networks, they do address a lot of these difficult topics. Like I saw on Disney Channel, they were talking about microaggressions on some show. I saw on like TikTok, that was happening. I know Andy Mack, an Asian American show that talks about, I think they talk about the LGBTQ community on there and things like that. Like they're bringing awareness to children. I think that's important. But y'all remember Boy Meets World?
Degrassi.
Right, like
Full House.
all of those things that like it was lesson after lesson, even though they were sitcoms. I think that's really important. I think we kind of lost touch of that over the years.
I think, for lack of better words, I feel like some of the shows now kind of lack substance. So I know, I think I was afraid of people that smoked when I was 12, because Full House had this one episode where the best friend has a cigarette at school and they're just doing it and stuff like that. And I think it was, I don't know which character, but she was just I'm just so uncomfortable. And I'm I'm so uncomfortable. It's a good lesson, but the way that they explained it, I was moved by it. That sounds so lame, but I was moved by the episode. No, I liked it, and it taught me a good lesson.
Right. And okay, so for example, when I was getting ready for college, as soon as I found out I was going to Spelman, I watched all of the different worlds. I binged it.
I love it so much.
I love it so much. Why'd I scream? I remember I watched all of it, and I learned about college and being at HBCU throughout that episode. Throughout that series. I loved every second of it, and the fact that I had to go back in time to watch it just shows how much we lack now.
Wow, because that was from the late 80s, early 90s,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to find that for you going to school in the 21st century.
Yeah, in 19 it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting how much we evolved on TV, and we're coming up with new series, we're coming up with these imaginative universes, which is really, really cool. But we just lost touch of that. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think we've opened up a lot of creative areas to explore, but I just think we missed that, that's all.
And I think, we didn't talk about this actually, so I'm bringing this up, I think it's new. But remember, I think at some point it was very big in the media to talk about whether or not our generation was soft or too sensitive, stuff like that. I wonder if that has to do with it. Because I remember watching some, not raunchy, but just very graphic, not graphic, I don't know the good word for it, but there's some Degrassi episodes that I'm just that's a good lesson because it's something so deep. I don't feel like Disney would show that nowadays. And I don't know if it's because we're too sensitive or if they feel maybe we're too young. Because I don't know how old I was watching Degrassi, but I learned some stuff that's good for me now as a high schooler that I was watching when I was in middle school. I don't know if we're too soft or too sensitive, or if they're just scared to show us certain content. But back in the day, bro, they would show so much.
Even outside of Disney, where they have a little more freedom to play with.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. Y'all scared? We can take it. We don't watch it.
Yeah.
The younger kids, they can handle it. I feel like it's necessary, and it helped me grow, so I know it can definitely help other kids grow. So when we're planning for this episode, I know we got on the topic of how people of color are portrayed inside of different series. Do you want to expand upon that?
Yes. I feel like POC characters, when they're brought on, it's about them being a person of color. It's not really about them existing in that space and it not being talked about. It's just who they are. They, you know, they may have a different culture, they may have different beliefs, but like, you know, they're as normal. It's about the oppression, you know, and it's like people of color, it hurts. Right. And like,
That's okay to a certain extent.
I think we talked about this in Trauma Open a little bit.
Kind of?
Yeah, just about how we're portrayed as like these characters just going through everything. But like, remember Family Matters with Steve Urkel? And the funny part about it is they had these different archetypes of characters and they were just black, that's it.
No one said anything about it to like prove it.
Right.
They have to like show oppression and say like, yes, that means they're black.
Right.
Like, no, they could have a regular coming of age story and it'll be just fine.
Right, because we also do go through coming of age stories in our normal lives, you know? It shouldn't be that difficult. But I feel like when we do start talking about these oppressive things, and that's all we talk about, we're just not allowing each other to just exist in the space that we belong in.
I think another example will kind of be Degrassi. Not the Degrassi now, no tea, no shade, but what I watched was The Next Generation. Like that specific, I think it had like 16 or 14 seasons. They had a lot of diverse characters and they never really talked about them being whatever ethnicity, nationality, and anything like that. They were allowed to just be teenagers going through stuff.
Right.
And that's what I kind of grew myself up on. I think I started watching it 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And like I watched it throughout my middle school to be able to relate to these kids and realize like, oh, these are my life lessons. At the same time, it's very diverse, but it wasn't like the focus of it. Because people, there's other things to talk about.
Right. And I think it's important to mention those things because, no, my experience at my high school was different than the non-black person or white person that was going on about it. It was different, and I think it's important to mention those things. But it comes a time where it's like, hey, I brush my teeth too. I also am sad if I do not have, you know, this, that, and other. I did not get this. I did get this. You know, whatever. I think we don't take enough time to talk about those things. But it's important that we see it in the media. It's just all of it starting to become a little repetitive, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's good to have a balance of just real life stuff that everybody goes through, but then also highlighting, of course, things that are specific to whatever nationality you are. Like, it does matter. But there's other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Good balance.
And it sounds like we're talking more about specifically sitcoms, not really like these dramas that are created in these different universes. I think it's more focused on like when we talk about real life shows, are we showing what real life really is?
Yes. That was perfectly said. Good, Cymiah. Woo! Can I say bye?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of The Water Down. Woo! We had a really good conversation and we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Yeah!
I'm so tired of you.
Future Cymiah, if you don't like this, you have to use it.
Yeah. Present and future Britney says yeah.
What? You look down like you like that one lady from the one show.
Miss Jackson.
Wait.
You want to be me so
Wait, I'm getting ripped tonight! On this episode today, we're sitting down and talking about the evolution of TV. What happened to the 90s, my brother?
You don't know what we're talking about.
Shut up! Are you ready?